The day of days has arrived, and today we're expecting the Fed's interest rate decision. Bitcoin cares about this quite a lot because yesterday we briefly climbed above $94,000. In the meantime, there have been some slight profit taking also among the altcoins. Still, things are looking very, very good. And with that, welcome to a new crypto update video. Yes, we saw our pump yesterday perfectly into my short zone. Gold has also pumped, or rather is still pumping right now, silver anyway. It's just going up endlessly. Yes, we'll definitely take a look at all of this and how it all connects, of course, also in relation to the Fed and what the outlook is going forward. And tonight at 7:30 p.m., we'll go live and take a calm look at everything. Above all, the speech afterwards will, in my opinion, be very, very important to put things into perspective for how the next weeks and months will unfold. But before we get started, as always, feel free to give the video a like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And of course, feel free to join the free Telegram Talk and Signal group. There you'll always get the latest updates whenever I enter any trades or if there's anything new. If there's any news, you'll definitely hear about it first in the Telegram group, just like the gold short or, for example, my Bitcoin short yesterday, which has now been triggered. Also, if you're still looking for an exchange where you can trade all of this, you can do it with my partner on the exchange BingX. Currently there are also some cool Christmas promotions, I have to say. For example, this Christmas adventure where you can simply sign up and then roll the dice every day. Once you reach a certain trading volume, you can win great prizes like a 10 times 50 USDT voucher, which you can use for all sorts of things. So just go ahead and sign up using the link below in the video description and you're in. All right, so I'd say let's not waste any time. Bitcoin at $92,500. It's going really, really well, to be honest. We took profit on our long position. Our short was triggered yesterday. I told you about it last night. When was it? Just before 6 p.m. I let you know that the short had been triggered. That was roughly here, I think, at $94,200. By now we're at $92,500, so that means we've already dropped about $1,700 here. No problem at all. I already mentioned it yesterday during the live stream. For me, this is the crucial area right here. This area around 91,500 to about 91,100 US dollars. That's the 50% or rather 65% mark of the green vector candle. If we can hold this level, then things can definitely continue to move upward. In that case, the trend remains intact. But if we break this support, things don't really look good. And that's why tonight we definitely need to pay attention to the wording of the poll. Because if we take a quick look at the news situation regarding this, a Fed cut this week may be the last for a while. And that's kind of the problem. And it's not just Bloomberg saying this. If we look at Twitter, several others like Goldman Sachs also expect that there will only be 2 more rate cuts in 2026. That means we might now be entering a phase where no further rate cuts are planned at all, at least until we probably get a new Fed chair who will then shake everything up completely. And who might even announce quantitative easing as well. So the speech, Amoski, tonight is going to be very, very exciting and will, of course, also have an impact on the crypto and stock markets. If the speech is bullish, but with the background of, yes, we're still not going to cut rates for now because we don't have the data, at least that's how it would come across. We could still reach our targets of 98,000 to 110,000 US dollars, more or less. Personally, I don't really believe in that anymore because even though Japan didn't comment on it yesterday when the governor of the Bank of Japan spoke, it's still a topic that causes a lot of uncertainty and is something we have to face in the coming week. So in 8 days, there's a Fed rate decision in Japan. And just take a look at the 10-year bonds. It's catastrophic. 1.96%. Yesterday, at one point, we were even at 1.98%. That's unbelievable. All of this could still blow up in our faces. That's why it will be extremely important this evening to see how Powell comments. The funding rates are currently relatively reasonable, so we can still keep rising. There's absolutely nothing speaking against that. Let's take a quick look at the heat map here. We're pulling in the small orders again, out. We can also see that we still have a smaller cluster in the range of 95,000 to 96,000 US dollars. But down below, more and more is starting to form as well. The biggest big cluster we've been talking about all this time is finally off the table, and that's a good sign at this point. So now we'll just wait and see. Maybe we'll get another chance. In any case, I'm definitely going to increase my long position a bit more down in this gray area, hoping that we'll get another strong move upward. Otherwise, we'll take a closer look at the rest this evening at 7:30 p.m. in a more relaxed setting. Let's move on to the altcoins. Ethereum. So Ethereum. It's really performing incredibly well. I have to give myself some credit for that. It's been running since our entry down here. At $2,800 at its peak, that's a 20% gain, and we're still up 18% at the moment. Here too, I'm currently considering how we should proceed. My current plan is to increase the position again around $3,200, so that our entry averages out to about $3,000. That means right here in this accumulation range. If we fall below that, it's over anyway. That's why I'm still waiting here, but we're definitely much closer to my wave. We've come within 3 days of it. That's also a very, very good sign at this point. And if we also take a look at the funding rates, just to check that off as well, we see positive funding for Ethereum. So an overall pullback would actually be a good thing right now, either during the day or after the Fed's interest rate decision. We'll have to wait and see. I'm definitely curious to see how this will play out. Otherwise, Solana, again, I think I mentioned it yesterday. On the live stream, it's now been rejected at $145 about 8 or 9 times. It's a disaster, really a disaster here in terms of price action. Sure, we filled the vector here a bit, but still. This is price action we don't want to see. We finally want to see a breakout because this consolidation has clearly been going on for too long. Of course, things can move faster than you think, especially if suddenly more rate cuts are announced. At the moment, we shouldn't even be expecting this. And that's what makes it, it makes things a bit tricky at this point. We'll have to see if we can even reach our targets here. Then let's move on to the traditional markets. The dollar will probably take a bit of a dip this evening due to the news that we're getting a rate cut. The euro should benefit a bit from that. And then we'll move over to gold. You can see I've moved the sell zone down a bit. Why? Because I went short yesterday. I posted that for you in the Telegram group yesterday. Here that I opened the bot on Pionex. So now we have 2 bots open. We have a short bot open and a long bot open. These are the 2 that are running now. Why did I decide after all to go short yesterday at around 4,200? Because we've basically reached the wave B target. Basically, it was always about the golden pocket. Up to 0.786 would normally be the textbook target. But now we're running out of time. I'm simply assuming now that since the Fed will probably make a cut, and then for the time being, for 3 to possibly even 6 months, they won't cut at all. And during that time, gold will correct and silver too. At least that's the idea behind it right now. Of course, that's under the assumption that we don't get a huge global economic crisis where everyone rushes into gold. And that's why I still have the long position open. The long is bigger than the short, and that's simply the reasoning behind it. Normally, gold should correct down to our levels here, between $3,700 and $3,500. And from there, with a new interest rate decision, so sometime next year, when interest rates go down again, then it will get ready for the next leg up. That's the rough plan for gold for now. And as for silver, I don't have one because silver just does its own thing. I would just say, forget about shorting or anything else, just keep your hands off it. All right, then let's move on to the traditional markets. The DAX looks good, it's pumping. The Dow Jones is pumping too. And I already have an idea for a short, and the same goes for the NASDAQ and also the S&P 500. All of this is mainly with regard to Japan. You already know my rough targets, now around 7,000 points. I've also set an alert here, just before 7,000 points on the S&P 500. And the positive thing about it is, since yesterday, we can finally trade Dow Jones, Russell, and Nikkei on BingX again. That's a good sign. That means we've already been able to trade the S&P 500 there for a while now, so all future stocks are now possible again. And that's obviously great for us, because if we get up into this zone, I'll definitely think very carefully about whether to go short up here. Originally, the zone was at 7,040. I've moved it down a bit. We'll have to adjust it again anyway. That was still about the valid 3 target. I don't think we'll see that now, the 7,400 points. But this consolidation here, with this really weak volume that we have in here, is the same story with the NASDAQ. Take a look at the volume. It's not what we really want to see. So be careful. Volatility index, possibly ready for a breakout. Maybe. Shall we take a look at it too? Let's see how it plays out this evening in peace. So in my opinion, today is going to be extremely exciting. It's pretty quiet, even on the economic calendar, if we take a look at it. Today, not much will happen, except of course the Fed this evening. And then I'm curious to see how things will continue. The speech will be much more important than the previous ones, especially considering that it could possibly be his last. Who knows what else Trump might come up with, but all right. Let's take a look at everything calmly this evening, live at 7:30 p.m. Otherwise, I would appreciate it if you leave a like on the video and subscribe to the channel. And otherwise, we'll hear from each other again this evening As I said, definitely check out WEEX. I'd appreciate it. And otherwise, yeah, that's it from me. I wish you a nice, relaxing day. Take care of yourselves. Then we'll hear from each other this evening at 7:30 p.m. Until then, ciao, ciao. And as always, stay creepy.